Hello and welcome back to my YouTube channel, the GenerationHollow YouTube channel. I recently just got back into making videos and I released a bunch every week. I was doing really well while also streaming 5 days a week, and then bang, out of nowhere, no videos for over 2 weeks, almost 3 weeks. What happened? I'm sure plenty of you are confused or wondering. Although there's been plenty of you who've come to my Twitch stream and sort of found out, or looked at my Twitter, or looked at my Discord, or anything really outside of my YouTube, you'd find out. Basically, I had an operation. On the 1st of November, I was put under and had a little small operation. And I've been recovering from it. I haven't been able to walk around. I haven't been able to go outside. I've not been able to do much. And I've been on some stronger painkillers, at least by my own standards. The strongest painkillers I've ever had in my life were like paracetamol or something. Meanwhile, I had like 3 times stronger ibuprofen and also coketamol, the third strongest or whatever it was, the strongest version of that. So basically, when I would take it, I would like feel my heartbeat. And I would just be like, and I couldn't focus on anything. I couldn't even like watch a TV show or play a game without like losing focus. Like my attention span was just pathetic when I was taking them. So for the first week, I was mostly out of action. And because of the nature of the sort of the wound, clothing on the area was just really agitated and really uncomfortable, so I couldn't really go outside or anything. I couldn't walk around, and it just, it still gets agitated now, but I'm doing a lot better. It is now day 19 for me after recovery, so day 20 tomorrow. Doing pretty good, almost 3 weeks since the operation, and the recovery's been going good. I've had no major complications, so touch wood and all that. But basically, it meant I couldn't really do anything. I couldn't look after myself or anything. I couldn't even cook food for like the first like week really, or anything. I got outside on like the 9th day. I dragged myself to the shop and stuff, and now I've taken myself for a haircut and I've been outside a couple times and stuff. But I'm still not able to be outside properly and like wandering around and doing loads of stuff unless I'm really careful, and there's sort of a time limit on it before eventually things are like agitated or annoyed. I got to be careful, I got to take it slow, but ultimately keep pushing forward with it. So what was the operation itself? Basically it was just a small operation that was just unfortunately a little brutal in regards to how it leaves the wound. So it's just an agitated wound, I guess. It was a relatively chill thing. It was not life-threatening or anything. It was just something that was impeding on my life a little bit, and then a lot, and then annoying. And it was just kind of like a thing that I'm like, oh man, I really have to do something about this. This is really annoying. And down the line, maybe 10 years, maybe 20 years, it could have had some health problems. And so I was like, well, I better tackle this while I'm young and I can deal with it. So let's do that. So I saw a few doctors and they were all like, yeah, so you need this operation. And I'd never had an operation before in my life, so that was really horrible. And nervous and all that. It took months to get together and sort. So I knew it was coming, but what I thought would happen was, hey, okay, so I'm gonna have this operation, and for like 5 days I'm just gonna not stream and do any YouTube stuff. And then like on the 9th day, where I'm still feeling horrendously useless, I was like, okay, so this did not turn out the way I thought it would. I needed more time to rest than I thought. I have streamed 7 times now, so I've completed a full stream week once, 5 days, and I also got 2 days on a Saturday and Sunday previous to that. So I have been, 7 days of streaming so far. I have been doing so you can check those out if you want, obviously. But in regards to YouTube, I've just not had the focus. It takes hours and hours of like practice and planning and all this stuff and organization and editing and all that. And with just my attention span, I just couldn't face it, to be honest with you. So I'm back now telling you what's going on, what's happened, and to let you know what's coming next. But before we get into all that, let's talk about the experience of the operation. I'm sure plenty of you are interested in that. Okay, so I went in on the 1st of November. Thankfully, my grandmother, my nana, drove me to the private hospital. What we do in England right now is, because hospitals are so overbooked, the public healthcare and all that sends people to private hospitals to have operations and treatment and stuff because of the overflow. So I was quite lucky, and like it was all covered by the like public health that we have here, the NHS. And I went to a private hospital on that, and that was insane. So like my doctor was really good, the nurses and the sort of building itself, the area was really nice, and I got like my own private room to like be in while before the operation and recover in after the operation. That was phenomenal. But because they're so overbooked and everything, they gave me like the things I needed, like the drugs, you know, the painkillers and all that. Told me some really basic stuff. Didn't really tell me a bunch of things that, like, I have so many questions right now. I haven't been back and seen my doctor yet. I'm going to see my doctor on the 26th this month, so soon. And then I'm going to ask him like 19 questions because I got a lot of questions. But yeah, they didn't really tell me too much. They were like, yeah, so operation good, painkillers, here you go. Take them like this while taking out the cannula out my hand. So that really fucking hurt. And I wasn't focused on what this nurse was saying to me. So I didn't really know what to do with my own painkillers, like how to take them, whatever. They're labeled and stuff, but like I was completely out of it. I mean, I was on general anesthetic, so I was just like a zombie or something. I didn't know what the hell's going on. Hell of an experience. So yeah, private hospital, good side, great care and like great operation and very qualified people. Bad side is they shoved you out the door like ASAP and you're kind of left in the dark. They didn't even like call me after or anything. Yeah, so good and bad from it, to be honest. But I am really glad that I got to be in a private hospital just because I got my own room. That's all I cared about. Like not sitting in like a hospital wing with like 9 or 10 other people for hours, uncomfortable. At least I had some privacy, right? Okay, so let's talk about the operation. So I go there, they take me to my room, they say, okay, so we're going to send some people in to see you soon, see you in a bit, whatever. About 2 hours later, I had a nurse come in and check, you know, hey, so this is your name, this is your date of birth, this is the operation you're here for, let's talk about the process, let's get you ready, and all that stuff. I was like, okay, cool, no problem. So I put my little gown on. I'm sure I've shown a picture by now of it. They're weird, man. These gowns. They don't leave much to the imagination. They don't cover much. So I felt really interesting in that apron thing I was wearing, basically this medical gown. And I just chilled out on that for another hour and a half. Eventually, a nurse came by and we talked about what's coming next. I'm going to get to talk to my general anesthetic or anesthesiast person, whatever they're called, the person that's like specifically doing the anesthetic on me, and I'm also going to see my doctor soon. So about half an hour later, 45 minutes later, my doctor comes in, the guy doing the operation. He checks I'm doing all right, asks me about the book I'm reading. He's super chill, like as far as doctors go, and like giving you confidence in their ability to do a surgery that you're going to have. Holy crap, I had no worries. This guy was just like chill as hell and like really brutally honest about everything, and let you know how it's really going to be, and told you there's going to be no problems and it's all going to be over pretty much that same day. You know, I got to leave the same day. It was like 9 p.m., 10 p.m. at night, and I got there at like 12 or something. So I was only there for like 9 or 10 hours ultimately. Pretty amazing when you think about it. Yeah, so he just tells me all these things. I'm like, okay, cool, but I should let you know I have some issues with like the anesthetic and the whole process of that. So I should probably talk to the anesthesiast person, right? And he's like, yeah, he'll be by soon, and then you can talk to him about all your concerns and he's gonna alleviate that. And I was given loads of like papers and stuff to read about, and what most of them said was, yeah, the anesthesiast person's going to come and you're going to talk to them about anything, any concerns. They're going to walk you through it. They're going to basically leave you completely calm and convinced of everything and certain, and you know what's coming, and you know that you're in the right hands, and you've basically talked about all your concerns, and you know they've talked you through it. So this guy comes in, and the nurse was with me for like 30 minutes having a chat. It was really nice. The doctor came in 10 minutes, whatever. It was chill. It was great. This guy comes in and he's in and out in 30 seconds. The one guy that I actually wanted to talk to and needed to talk to is in and out in 30 seconds. So he comes in. It's like, hey, so you're this guy. You're having this operation. You're under general anesthetic. Yeah, all that's confirmed. But I should let you know, I have a bit of an issue. So for you guys who don't know, I checked if I was anemic about 2 years ago, because whenever I get like certain cuts where like an artery's cut and like it's fun to talk about, sorry, spurting blood, you know, blood in general, something to do with like it like coming out quickly, I don't know, something about that just really bothers me, right? I have some sort of phobia or something. So I was like, what's wrong with me? Because I had my ear cut once when someone cut my hair, and I lost vision, and my ears, like I wasn't deaf, but my hearing went really bad, like ringing my ears, couldn't hear much, went pale, it's called sweats. My heart was beating really fast. The entire time I was chill. Pain was nothing. There was barely any blood. I had no issues with any of it. And yet here I was just incapacitated. And my breathing was fine and I was talking fine. Yet I couldn't bloody see out of my eyes. So there's something wrong with me, right? Like, what the hell is that? There's something wrong. Go to my local doctor, have my blood taken, warn them, hey, you know, might have like this thing. This is why I'm getting checked if I'm anemic or if there's any issues or whatever. So they take my blood and I warn them like, okay, so this is why I'm here. They put me on like a bed, feet up, no pain. Well, the pain, right? But I don't care. I can deal with pain. It's not a big deal. I don't even look. I know there wasn't much blood or anything. Still like lose vision and get like ringing in my ears, but it's not as bad. And it fades because we were ready this time, and like my feet were up and she got me water and, you know, I was chill. Breathing was fine. But I still did have like this shock or episode or whatever you want to call it. So I'm like, okay, there's definitely something wrong with me if it happens again like that in such a careful environment. And my blood tests come back, all the tests come back. I'm not anemic. In fact, I'm perfectly healthy. They could see absolutely no signs of any issues, no blood pressure issues or anything. I am completely fine. And yet, certain types, like, I don't know, if I got hit by like a blunt hit, there's blood. I've seen blood. I deal with blood. No problems. But certain types, I don't know. It's really weird. It just bother me. Like I go into shock. So it seems like I have some sort of phobia, basically. And that's where I'm like sat in the bed, about to have my operation. Guy I need to talk to about specifically that. Need to warn him. I have an issue. I have an issue with like injections and blood. It's quite bad. And he interrupts me. He goes, oh, so you're just a bit squeamish. Yeah, don't worry about it. We're going to just, you know, canal it in, get you like under. You're going to be fine. It's going to be over in no time at all. All right, we'll see you there. And before I can even open my mouth, he's out the door. Everyone else closed the door behind them. Or like my doctor is like, do you want the door open or closed? You know, really considerate. This guy's just like, hey, what's up? Oh, you just trying to tell me something? Nah, you're going to be fine. It's going to be fine. You're great. All right, bye. And doesn't even close the door. At which point I was like, shit. Oh, fuck. This is going to be a roller coaster immediately. I knew it was going to be not smooth the moment that happened, I guess. Yeah, so I'm just like sitting there for 30 minutes like, oh man, okay, this is going to be interesting. Another nurse comes by and she's like, have you got your tights on? Yeah. No, I don't have my tights. I don't have tights. She's like, oh, I'll go get you some. And she brings these really weird, like, silicone-y tights that don't go, like, up to your thigh, but, like, up to your knee. They cover your knee a little bit. And, like, attached to your foot, like, almost like a sock. And it's really tight and uncomfortable. Basically, what they do is, with operations that prevent you from walking around and, like, being limber and stuff, which I guess is a lot of operations, they basically prevent blood vessels from getting like trapped or whatever, and it's just to prevent you from having any issues with the fact that you can't walk around at all really for a long period, and you know, keep your legs healthy to a degree or something. At least the blood flow is healthy. Really weird. But anyway, they were really uncomfortable and really tight. I had to wear those for like 48 hours. That sucked. But I put these tights on. She's like, do you want to put your underwear on? I'm like, what? Because they gave me like this mesh thing. It's like a mesh sort of hat. You know what a hair hat thing looks like for, like, you imagine a cook trying to prevent hair from falling in the food while he's cooking. It looked like that. And it turns out that was underwear. And I thought they wanted me to put it over my hair for some reason. Pretty dumb. We laughed about that. Put those on, had my tights on, and then she took me to the operating theatre, or rather the room just before it. So it's like I lay on a bed, they're going to put the general anaesthetic into me, and then while I'm out, they wheel me into the operating room and then operate, right? So I get in there. I'm pretty calm, honestly. For me, with this phobia or whatever the hell I've got, I'm pretty calm. For me, I'm not worried about the recovery from the operation. I'm worried about this part. I don't know if you guys can see. It's pretty bright. Like that there, and then that there. It's very hard to see. And then, is that it? Yeah, there. Whatever. It's basically where they inject you and put the cannula in. So what is the cannula? It's basically this really horribly uncomfortable thing that they put into you. Instead of just like injecting you with anesthetic, they don't do that. They put a thing into you, and then the anesthetic goes through a drip. So it's basically like they put something into you, and then they put the anesthetic into that thing, and they may need to continuously put more in, who knows, so that they're able to do that whenever they need to. So they basically put this small thing in me, and it really sucked. So I lay down. They're asking me like 19 questions at once, 2 people on either side of me asking me different important questions like my date of birth, where I'm from, and then more complicated questions like personal information and stuff that I have to actually think about, all while I'm feeling really overwhelmed about the fact that, you know, they're about to stab me basically. So why have I got 3 injection holes? You know, they only need 1. Even though I am like a thin guy and I work out, and therefore my veins are really visible, they had to inject it 3 times before they got it in. Basically, they saw my hands and were like, oh, this is going to be smooth as hell. This guy's got great veins. I've got great veins, guys. Just weird flex, but okay. Yeah, so they're like, this is going to be easy. Just keep your hands still or whatever, while 2 other people are asking me personal questions and stuff, by the way. So I'm like, not focus too much. I guess that's the intention. And I keep my arm slack. It's going into my left hand. Keep my arm slack. Super chill. Laid there. No problem. Honestly, it's amazing I'm this calm. And keep my breathing calm. And they put the thing on, you know, so they put some paste on it, whatever, to get it ready. And then in. And I kept my left arm completely slack. With my right arm, because honestly, it hurt worse than an injection. It was, Canella's hurt. I like did that, you know, like, and kept that arm loose as hell. And then the nurse was like, oh no, you moved. It's like, I did not move that hand even slightly. And then the anesthetic guy was like, yeah, so when it went in, you obviously reacted to like a tiny degree and your veins slightly moved, so she missed. I'm like, oh, cool. This really hurts. We're going to just try again. Cool. So there's one person putting unbelievable pressure onto that to prevent it from bleeding more. That really hurt, more than the injection itself or whatever. And then they try again. This time, I don't move a muscle because I don't want it to happen again. Not a slight movement from me. I'm getting a bit lightheaded now as well, but vision's fine, hearing's fine, so we're okay. And they mess it up again. That time I didn't move at all. And amazingly, I don't remember what the nurse's name was. I'm just going to say something like Karen. Just because, I don't know, that's the name I've decided to give this nurse. The anesthetic guy was like, Karen, come on, his veins are really visible. He didn't move. I saw he didn't move. She's like, sorry. All right, we're going to have to go to the other hand. So now I've got 2 of the type of bleeding that I hate coming out of this hand. There's someone absolutely like ramming their hand onto mine to prevent the bleeding, and that kills because it's, you know, a wound that they're pressing on. It really not nice feeling. You know, I have issues with veins or something, you know, right, this phobia, and they're basically just going to 100 on my phobia. They're just, my worst nightmares are recurring right now. They're pressing on my veins. That's a horrible thought. And they're making it bleed and cutting it and all that shit. It's great. Great fun. Would recommend. They go to the next hand. This time, I'm not moving at all. I hold my breath. I don't care. I don't care if this is the worst pain I've felt in my life. I am not moving. No veins will move this day. They won't dodge her. Okay? Third attempt, it goes in. We're good. And all the while, I'm answering questions that are confusing. And I actually misanswered a bunch and had to try again while it was going on because I was just distraught, I guess. Oh my God. So yes, they got it in. The cannula went in. Cannula, sorry. And cool, good to go. They start putting the anesthetic in. I'm answering more questions again. I'm a bit more focused. I still got vision. There is a slight ringing in my ears. Somehow I'm okay. Frankly, no idea how though. This nurse is still putting loads of pressure on my hand, so it really hurts. The injection where the anesthetic's going in really hurts. And then because the anesthetic's going in, it's like this icy cold feeling. So I feel that go into my hand, creep into my hand. And the moment I do, the pain in my right hand eases massively. I was like, oh, that's nice. And it starts going up my arm quite quickly, this icy feeling. And then before I know it, my left hand hurts a lot less. I'm like, oh, there you go. That's the stuff. And they're asking me more questions. And they're like, okay, stay focused. Keep your eyes open. I don't want you to close your eyes. Now, what most of my family members told me and a couple of my friends is what they're going to do is they're going to ask you to count to 10. And you probably get to like 4 and you'll fall asleep, right? They're not asking me to count to 10. They're asking me like your really important, like, I don't know, your passport number kind of questions. And I'm trying to answer them and I'm doing my best. And like she's like, no, don't close your eyes. Keep them open. I'm like, okay, all right. And then I answer the next question. And then I'm waking up from the surgery. It was literally like that. It was like, okay, I'm answering this question. I'm in the middle of answering this question. And then I'm waking up from the surgery like that. It was weird. It was surreal. But it was that easy and that quick. I immediately asked the dude that was next to me, is everything okay? Did the operation go okay? He just gives me a thumbs up and he's like, yep, completely fine. No problems. You're all good. I'm like, great. So we're going to take you back to your room. And I try and get off the bed. Like, no, we're going to wheel you there. And I'm like, okay. But I think I could have walked back. And in reality, not a chance. I would have collapsed on the floor. Trust me. I had no control over my limbs. Oh, man. Anyway, operation apparently went smooth, right? I get taken back to my room. They give me toast and tea and some water. And they're like, all right, we're going to need you to use the toilet and make sure everything's okay. So there's no issues with your systems because anesthetic can cause issues, I guess. So, yeah, I drink loads of tea. I have loads of water, like a pint of it. No, multiple pints. And then I go to the toilet like 5 times. A-okay, we're all good. And the nurse comes by and goes, cool, great to see, bringing you my painkillers. And someone comes and takes the cannula out while she's telling me about painkillers and stuff. That really hurt. I actually think overall, if they'd only injected the cannula once, first try, it would hurt more when it was taken out. But because they tried 3 times, that overall sucked worse than them taking it out. But taking it out sucked. I didn't have any general anesthetic to help me that time, let me tell you. It hurt. They took that out. Loads of pressure on it. Eventually, plasters everywhere. I was covered in them. And all good. And then my nana shows up and we get out of there. And that was it. I was pretty fine overall, but I would argue a huge part of it was thanks to the general anesthetic, making me numb to a lot of feelings and sensations. There was a lot of blood. I was bleeding a lot. And I was bleeding for like 4 days after that from the wound. And that sucked. Sleep did not happen that night, let me tell you. I just could not. There was no way. It's one of those wounds where you can't move with it. You have to lay in like a very specific way. You can't lay on your side. I sleep on my side, so it's just impossible. And I woke up, I say I woke up, I got out of bed at like 8 a.m. or something, just gave up and stayed awake. Now, huge credit to Tony, because I took one of the stronger ibuprofens that they gave me, and not the actual real painkiller, the coketamol. I didn't take that until 9 p.m. that next day. So no sleep, no painkillers, just a light painkiller itself, no proper painkiller. I was struggling. And Tony found me about 9 p.m., sat on my bed, like, struggling. It's like, okay, show me your medicine. And it turns out I was meant to take 3 of the ibuprofens and probably like 2 or 3 of the really strong painkillers. So I just had 1 week painkiller throughout the whole day, and it was rough. Don't recommend that. In my defense, I could not focus on anything, and I completely misread like the medication, and I just wasn't sure, and I was worried because coketamol has paracetamol in it, and I thought ibuprofen did as well, and you're not supposed to take things that both have it. So I was really concerned about overdosing on that or something, but no, I was fine. So he gave me 1 of each basically, and also something else to help counterbalance the coketamol, and it basically was like a weight put on me, and I was just like, and yeah, I slept for 3 hours or something, woke up, stopped agitating the wound. After a couple more hours, fell asleep for an hour again. After a couple more hours, fell asleep for an hour again. I got like 5 hours sleep. So I was just overall really underslept. Started to take my painkillers on the 3rd day properly, completely useless, couldn't do anything. I was leveling in WoW for pretty much 10 days on a Magha Orc warrior that I wanted to work on. And holy shit, it was the slowest leveling I've ever done. I just couldn't focus on anything for like 5 days while I was taking the stronger painkillers and stuff. Eventually sleep did come a bit more, where I would get 2 hours in a row and then be awake for an hour and then 2 more hours. So I was falling asleep quicker and sleeping for longer. And then I got like 6 or 7 hours of sleep one night, and I was feeling great about that. As it stands right now, I still am waking up in the night, but I'm getting like 6 or 7 hours in a row uninterrupted now. So I'm doing a lot better in terms of sleep, which is really nice. Yeah. So the recovery was slow and a lot worse than I realized, or expected it rather. Thankfully, my parents looked after me. Thankfully, Tony looked after me, made food, and my nana came by and changed like clothing, did washing for me. I'm really grateful and lucky to have such a kind and supportive family and a really good friend in Tony to help me with myself for not taking medicine, but also, like just like feeding Smudge for me because I couldn't, and things like that. I'm very lucky to have the people around me that I have around me. But overall, really intense process. Turns out operations are no joke, and I really didn't know what to expect. I wasn't ready for it. But I can tell you this, I'm a lot less squeamish now, and whatever this phobia I have is probably still there, but I can deal with it now, and it's better, I think. So yes, that's why I haven't been making videos. I've been kind of useless, I'm sorry. But I want to let you know what's coming next and all of that. So, Patreon. A bunch of people are still supporting me on Patreon. Thank you so much. There's a very recent Thank Your Patreons Day that happened. I just want to say a huge thank you for the support that you stuck by me, the people who are still supporting on the Patreon, who are basically helping me fund the YouTube since, very low viewership and views are worth nothing these days. And that's unbelievably generous and kind, especially when I've been unable to make videos for the last like 2-3 weeks, still supporting. Thank you so much. For these people, I sent a message to all my patrons on the Discord or via like PM or DM, whatever, on Patreon, and asked everyone, what is it you want to see from me? What is it you subscribe for? Why is it that you chose to support me on Patreon? And the resounding, repeating answer was, I like you, and I really like your playthroughs, specifically the Hollow playthrough style, where I put like really intense study and awareness and practice and take the game really serious, whether it's the world, whether it's the gameplay, whatever. I put like every hour I record is like 3 hours of editing or whatever minimum, and like lore research and discussion and back and forth in the comments, all the viewer, all that, all the amazing stuff. Every hour of playing the game, there's like 6 or 7 hours around that 1 hour, so it's really intense and really interesting, but it basically will never let me grow, you know? It's playthroughs, let's plays. I might do it in a certain way. I might put a lot more effort than just sit down, record, upload, right? But it is a playthrough, and no one's looking for a new playthrough person to watch, really. It's not something I can grow my channel on. So I've always been like that. Even though I love doing them, and I've done them for years and years, they've always been like a, okay, 2 a year kind of thing, 3 a year kind of thing, if you're lucky. It's what my patrons want, and I want to do what they want because they're supporting me. So I am finishing the Hollow Knight DLC on the YouTube. I was going to do it on Twitch. I'm doing it on YouTube because that's what people want. And that's what I'm going to do now. So they'll be coming out soon. I'm not sure how many are going to come out each week. It'll be either 2 or 3 a week, depending. I do want to do a 3rd video a week that's not specifically gaming and more like me or other things, more broad topics or whatever. Just to have more of a back and forth with you guys, you know, touch base and all that. Do dumb videos or whatever. I'm not really sure. But I'm thinking 2 playthroughs a week, 2 playthrough episodes a week that, you know, lots of effort gone into planning, practice, all that. And then 1 other video that's a bit more variety for people not interested in the current playthrough I'm doing. That's my concern. It's like, cool, lots of people are involved in Hollow Knight, but the next thing I do, maybe not everyone cares about that game. The next thing I do, maybe not everyone cares about that game. Maybe there's a guy who really likes Hollow Knight, but doesn't like, somehow, I don't know, Dark Souls or something. It's possible, it's probable, it's extremely likely. So that's a concern. But it's what patrons want. That's what I want to do. So I'm going to do that. So that's what's coming next. Big thank you for all your support and patience. Super lame that I managed to get, like, what was it, 2 months in or something, uploading videos a lot and then bang. But what can I do? There's no way around it. The reason I'm not telling you what the operation itself was is because ultimately it's a private thing and it's something I probably will talk about in the future. But while I'm still recovering, I just don't want to talk about specifically what it is yet. I'm not ready or equipped to, like, have the back and forth about it yet. Because I need to learn more about it, to be honest. So thank you so much for watching. Thanks for listening. I'm sorry this video came out to like half an hour long. I want it to be 20 minutes, but whatever. I talked about it on live stream and it took about an hour. So 30 minutes is actually pretty good. Actually, it's half the time. So there you go. So that's what's coming next. That's where I've been. That's my whole experience. If you've got any questions, ask them in the comments and I'm sure I'll answer them. Thanks so much. I'll see you soon.